Dating art is really what the problem is here. Thank you. Bye. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, Misha.
How are you?
Pretty good. And
Good.
I'm sorry, I actually do have a question. I'm just kind of nervous because there's a microphone in my face right now. So,
Yeah, it's a great. It's almost like a enhanced interrogation technique, isn't it?
I'm. Stop laughing at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm not. I'm laughing at your mic stand.
I'm trying to raise money to go with Random Acts to Nicaragua in November. I was just wondering if you have any fundraising tips.
Yes. Well, the first step, and I think this actually does, no joke, make it a lot easier. If you get a couple million followers, it's much easier to raise money that way. So I would start with that.
In lieu of that, is there anything I can do? I don't quite have the grand melomaniacal power you have. I don't quite have that yet.
Yet being the operative word.
Indeed.
I have a little bit of advice, which is if...
That's good advice.
Who is more cute than me? One thing that seems to be effective is if people see you really caring and really making some sort of personal sacrifice yourself. So, for instance, if you go, run a marathon and collect, pledges while you're doing that, or sell all of the belongings in your house, although I don't recommend that avenue. But if you demonstrate some sort of personal sacrifice, I have found that other people are more willing to support you when you do that, because they can see that you really care. When I kind of lazily post about something and don't demonstrate a commitment on my end, people are generally pretty lackluster in their support. But when I, literally bleed for, I guess I haven't done that. But you get my point, metaphorically anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck. Hope to see you in Nicaragua.
Thank you.
We finished 2 years ago. We did our last trip to Jacmel, Haiti. And it was really gratifying to see this huge building completed that had been funded by Random Acts, volunteers raising money and coming down there for 3 years. And that building is now finally getting occupied. Things take a long time in Haiti, but it's finally being occupied by children, and it's really just awesome to see it up and running. And now we're embarking on another project in Nicaragua. We're building a free high school it'll be a free school that will service a large rural area in Nicaragua. So that's our next project, which is in November, and people are raising money to come join the trip to support that project. And I'm gonna go, and I have to figure out some way to bleed for that in advance. So, hi.
I was wondering what your first impressions on Supernatural were and on the cast.
My first impressions of the show was that it was super weird. I mean, supernatural. Good point. Astute observation. I hadn't watched the show much when I got on it. When I auditioned, I had seen the posters, so I knew something about the show at that point. I'd done my homework to that extent. And then by the time I actually stepped on set, I had watched a couple of episodes, but I wasn't really fully understanding the universe. And the idea of being an alien, or an angel. I guess I'm not an alien, right? I don't know, I haven't really read the scripts. But But it was strange, and it was kind of interesting to, you know, figure out the character. And then also I was coming into a cast and crew who had been, you know, working together for several years at that point already, and they all knew each other really well. And like Matt was saying on stage, you know, when your first day on set, when it's a new set, it always feels, especially on serial television, it always feels like you're the new kid at school and everybody knows each other, and it's a little hard to ingratiate yourself and integrate. They thought I was super weird, so their first impression was accurate. But the Supernatural, the way that crew is set up and the way the cast interacts with guest stars is actually very, like, unusually warm and welcoming. When you get up to Vancouver as a guest star, they give you like this whole binder, a welcome binder, and it tells you where you can go to restaurants and, you know, where you can rent a bicycle, and they're just very kind of attentive, and the whole crew is very gracious. They're not usually like that on network television. So it was easier than it could have been. But, you know, obviously Jared and Jensen are very, very difficult to work with. So, yeah, it was kind of funny because I think that my character, the way I introduced Castiel, is this sort of ethereal, very socially awkward, not terribly human-seeming character, was indicative of the fact that I hadn't watched a lot of the show. And I, you know, because up to that point, most of the, you know, supernatural creatures were, I think, more acted, generally speaking, more human, maybe, than I was acting. So I think that when they saw, and Jensen has told this like story, when they saw how I was acting, they were like, what is this? But it ended up sticking somehow, so now they're stuck with it. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm freaking out, but okay.
Oh, good.
You and I had a brief conversation at VanCon about your interest in kale and my lack of having tried kale. I was in the back of the audience.
Oh.
It was a weird thing. I don't know how it happened, but I was wondering if you...
Wait, was this when I wandered back into the audience?
No, you were up...
I can't see you at all, so for me, it's, you have to give me some more clues.
I was way at the back. You couldn't see me.
Great, so that helps.
Yeah.
Got it. Now I remember. You're the person I've never seen.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I was wondering if you had any other infatuations with strange objects that you'd be willing to share with us.
This doesn't end well. I recently, this is a sidebar, I'm not going to get into the objects just yet. The sidebar that the National Kale Day, which is a thing, I guess, Kale Day, are now signing up to be official sponsors of Gishwitz. I think is awesome. Yeah, I mean, they, you know, the negotiations, they went pretty well. Like, I probably shouldn't even talk about things like this. I shouldn't brag, but they basically, I reached out to them, to be honest with you. I was like, look, how cool would it be? And they were like, absolutely. You know what? Tell you what. How about we give you one medium T-shirt? And I was like, yes. So they said they sent a small, so it didn't quite get what I wanted, but I have one small, totally not to disparage my sponsor, the worst T-shirt I've ever seen. It looks like they pulled something out of a drawer and put some green tape on it, like wrote kale on a white T-shirt with tape. So yeah, so that happened. And other obsessions. I used to be really obsessed with National Public Radio. I think I may have had an unhealthy obsession with National Public Radio. What? Garrison Keillor is awesome, that's true. Ira Glass, and also that other public radio personality, William Shatner, obviously. What? Is he on National Public Radio or something?
No.
What have I missed? No, you're thinking of Twitter. You're thinking of the television show Star Trek, not National Public Radio. People often confuse them. I did listen to Serial, did you?
Yes.
That was riveting. What? Do I think the guy did it? I actually happen to know that he did it. Wouldn't that be great if I did know? I wish I did. Yeah, so I hope that doesn't answer your question.
No, that's fine.
Good, okay. Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering what you thought about your character on Supernatural, Castiel's evolution throughout the series.
Were you going to say devolution? His downward spiral over the course. Thank you, by the way, for reminding me of my character's name. I would have forgotten. What do I think of his evolution over time? What do you think of his evolution over time?
I think that he's become like more human in a way.
Really? You really think that?
Well, he can relate to the people around him more.
That's actually what I was trying to do. So good. I got one right. That's good. No. He's gotten older. Castiel, the angel who is supposed to be thousands of years old, is aging very, very quickly. I shudder to think what he's going to look like another 500 years from now. Because because he's gotten to know people, and he was a person. He was a human for a little while, so he has much more empathy. Sometimes it seems like he's still a little bit out of it, but he's got a better grasp on things now than he did when he first showed up, for sure. Much more empathetic, understands popular cultural references, mostly, but sometimes he still doesn't, for some time. He doesn't get the context. He doesn't get the subtext, right? Thank you very much. Bye. Hi.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
Hi, Courtney.
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous.
I'm not going to give you any advice on that topic. I'm sorry. Out of the gate, I just want to shut you down if you're going to ask about that.
First of all, I just wanted to say that you're a huge inspiration, and I really appreciate everything you've done to give back to the community, so I just think that's really awesome.
Very sweet, thank you for saying that.
And I do have a question too.
Okay.
If you could go back to before you played Castiel for the first time, would you make any character changes, and what would you change?
I would change his voice. He would sound more like me. We're backstage when they played the Castiel montage video that Taylor put together, and I heard my voice as Castiel come on, and I immediately started laughing because I think it sounds so ridiculous.
I think it's nice.
Thanks. No, I'm on. There, I did it while you were yelling. Hi.
Hi. So my question is about last year's Gishwas. I spent.
Is this a question or a complaint? The way your tone implies that this is not going somewhere good.
I spent an insane